At the end of 1957, the Ether of Desa was returning to the United States from a short excursion to Barbados. The old cargo ship was owned and managed by the Shorerite Group, a subsidiary of Wheeler Industrial that manufactured freighters based out of Mobile, Alabama. On the returning journey, the ship mysteriously capsized. No public notice was ever issued, and the company never admitted to any complacency in the disaster. In December of 1957, Julian Terrellman, the CEO of the Shorerite Group, allegedly made contact with a group of local diving enthusiasts based out of Spring Hill, Florida. The group consisted of 31-year-old Joel Canvars, 30-year-old Oliver Schooser, 30-year-old Judy Griffin, 33-year-old Quentin Freeman, and 26-year-old Samuel Griffin. The group was tasked with the retrieval of specific items supposedly lost during the wreckage. During the same time as the wreckage, an FBI operation officially known as Quarry Deep was investigating the Shorerite Group and their parent company for currently unknown reasons. FBI officials involved in the investigation conducted a number of interviews with Joel Canvars and Oliver Schooser regarding the harrowing incidents that occurred during and after their operation. The following audio was collected by the FBI during an interview with Joel Canvars.
Need to make sure. Okay. May 15th, 1958, local time 3:13 a.m. SSA. Interview with a Mr. Joel Canvars. Mr. Canvars, I'd like to start by thanking you for coming to speak with me. Before we get into everything, can I offer you coffee, cigarette?
Coffee, please. I don't smoke. Thank you.
I suppose that makes sense, given your profession. Do you mind if I smoke? Thank you. Now, Mr. Canvars, if you recall, we last spoke with you in February, very briefly, regarding a retrieval operation you managed for the Shorerite Group.
Yes.
When we spoke with you then, you mentioned that neither you nor your...
We were first approached by Mr. Terrellman in December of 57 with the offer, the initial offer. He said the company he represented was looking for divers to help in recovering some items that had been lost in the wreck a few weeks prior.
The Ether of Desa.
Yes, he was very keen on discretion. He said the company was trying to avoid further embarrassment, and that we would be well compensated for our understanding.
What exactly were you compensated for this understanding?
$1,500 after we agreed, and another $1,500 upon successful retrieval, which we never...
One thing at a time, please. Tell me about the operation itself.
We made contact with Mr. Terrellman again on or around January 3rd, where he informed us that we would meet up with the rest of the team near Vantage Docks at Pier 3, off of US 19.
Near Spring Hill?
Yes. When we arrived, we were pretty surprised to find that we were the only team that had been recruited for the job.
Why's that?
Well, my conversations with Mr. Terrellman had led me to believe that we would be among a larger group of teams, but like I said, it was just the 5 of us when we arrived. We left early in the morning, I think around 4 a.m. or so. Besides us, there were 6 other men on the boat, none of whom we had met prior to this meeting.
When you say us, you're referring to...
Myself, Oliver, Judy, Samuel, and Quinn.
For the record, I would like to clarify that Mr. Canvars is referring to his associates Oliver Schooser, Judith Griffin, Samuel Griffin, and Quentin Freeman. Sorry, please continue.
The vessel was rather unassuming. a newer tugboat with a winch installed on the port side. No name or anything like that, and an all-black finish on the sides. We didn't speak to anyone until we arrived. It was somewhere west of where we initially started.
How long were you on the boat?
Hard to say. Maybe a half hour to an hour.
What happened after you arrived?
After we arrived, the captain, a German man, came down to inform us that in the wreckage we were looking for a medium-sized lead container with the with A751 printed on the lid. When we located the container, we were to hook it up to the winch and then manually guide it out of the wreckage.
Did you learn the captain's name?
No, sir.
And what did you find in the wreckage?
The vessel was much smaller than I initially thought.
Can you describe the scene for me?
Sure. Like I said, the container was in a room all by itself. In the back of the cargo hold. Other than that, there was almost nothing inside of the hold itself. And when we actually arrived on the scene, Oliver and myself, we noticed that
Can you describe what was inside the container?
just two rocks. They had been shaped by people, obviously enough, and they looked old, but other than that, they were rather ordinary.
Just that? Nothing else?
Nothing. Inside the container itself, there was a fixture that looked like it was designed to hold more items, but besides that, nothing. The room was empty as well. We looked all over just to make sure.
What happened next?
After we got everything back into the container, we regrouped with Judy and Quinn and began the process of extracting. I felt terrible at this point. We had been under for a while. After we hooked everything together, we started to ascend. And that's when the explosion happened.
Did you see the explosion?
No, but I felt it. The wreck wasn't that far below us. And whatever it was had enough punch to knock us clean to the surface.
At what point did you realize that Samuel was not with the rest of the group?
When...
It's okay, take your time.
When we got back to the ship, we noticed right away. The captain let us search until the sun came up, but we never found any trace of him. Damn near killed Judy after we left.
Miss Griffin was the sibling of Mr. Griffin?
Cousin.
What happened when you got back to shore?
We were contacted by Mr. Turrowman, who had heard of what happened by this point. He expressed his deepest sympathies, but urged us not to get the officials involved in the matter. His exact words were, "Accidents happen all the time. No need to bother the authorities."
Do you think he was threatening you?
I think I got the message, yeah.
Tell me how Judas died. Our reports indicate her wounds were self-inflicted. Tell me about Mr. Freeman.
What would you like to know?
Where is he?
I'm afraid I haven't spoken with him since the end of April. Last time I spoke with him, he mentioned he was heading west. Said he had family that way.
Interesting. Mr. Canvars, are you aware that Julian Turman was found dead last month on the 18th?
Yes, sir, I am.
Are you also aware that the official cause of death is being labeled as a homicide?
Yes, sir.
Interesting that Mr. Freeman's disappearance coincides with the death of Mr. Turman so well. Do you think there is any relation? Do you think Mr. Freeman is responsible for Mr. Turman's death?
Not directly.
What do you mean?
Quinn didn't handle Judy's death very well. He was convinced that someone was following us. I don't know.
Did you share this sentiment?
Not at first, but after the death of Mr. Turman, I'm honestly not sure.
Is that why
Yes, sir.
Mr. Canvars, I think we can help you. I'm going to turn you over to my colleagues, SSA.
Thank you.